rolling up on you, at you again with another episode. Andrew Lake Podcast. This is Doster Andrew Lake. Very pleased to be with you. We've got the acid quote of the day. Absolutely incredibly astonishing. Oh my goodness. Absolutely incredibly astonishing. So many things are this. I'm just amazed by this. Amazing. I'm hoping you're well, enjoying your times. Special shout out to the US of A. Land of the brave, the land of opportunity. The land where you can go and make something for yourself. Such as a print-on-demand business. Such as Acid Quote Tees. Printing in California. Proudly in collaboration with Monster Print. Shipping to all 50 states. You can get your Acid Quote Tee from Etsy.com. Follow the link in the description. And of course, we've got today's quote, absolutely, incredibly astonishing. There's so many things that fit into this category. Can we call it a category, or should we call it a phenomenon? Should we call it a realization? Could we call it a mode of being? A perspective. A perspective is something that you arrive at gradually, and it's got its complexes throughout your ways of thinking, your feelings, the behaviors that you regularly do, the information that you perceive, and another number of other many different factors. Perspective is something large. In many ways, perspective is everything. And I don't know if this phrase, absolutely incredibly astonishing, is so much a perspective as it is a realization. It's a moment of realness. That's what a realization is. It's where you come to something that's real. Oh, that sounded wrong. That sounded the wrong way to say it. Don't say it like that. Take that back. Delete. A realization is when you encounter something. It's when you encounter something that is undeniable. It is real. And I'm thinking, like, what can I say that is absolutely incredibly astonishing? I mean, this moment here, right now, with you doing this, no, I'm not kidding. Like, if I think about it too much, it just becomes like, what are we doing? And I know it's a normal thing. It's a normal place. It's a normal day. There's really nothing that special about it. And wherever you are, maybe you're thinking the same. Maybe you're experiencing the same. But if you really look at it, it is incredible. Here's the thing, right? It's not just incredible. It's absolutely incredibly astonishing. And perhaps more than that, perhaps if we sort of think about, what else can we say about this realization? And what came to me as I was just sort of mulling this over and ruminating and sort of contemplating this phrase, absolutely incredibly astonishing. It's like, people are absolutely incredibly astonishing. And they are so in a way that is impossible to describe. Because people don't really do things. I mean, people do things, but that's not what makes them absolutely incredibly astonishing. It's the way that they do it. It's the essence that they're expressing through what they do. Take, for example, dancing. Now, dancing is absolutely foundational to my path and my journey. And I absolutely prescribe dancing as a remedy, as a practice, as a mode of being. And what is dancing? Like when you see someone dance, I was thinking about Shatabdi, actually, my friend from Bangalore. Shout out to Shatabdi from Bangalore. Well, I guess we can call her Zorba as well. Or also, what's her other name? Cosmic Altar. That's her artist profile. CosmicAltar.com if you want to see her artworks. And Shunyamadi is her other name. Anyway, Shatabdi from Bangalore, India. she has a way of dancing that is absolutely incredibly astonishing. She has a way, and I mean, I laugh because it's also quite funny. And it's this thing with dancing that it's like you can't describe dancing. You can't describe what in it is so amazing. When you see someone dancing so mind-blowingly like that, in that putting you into that state, you can't say like how good it is. And it's not exactly the moves, because anyone can do the moves in a way. Anyone can move their body. Like we could film Shatabdi doing a dance, and then we could choreograph it and base it on a dance and turn it into something that lots of people can do. Yeah? And even in that, well, that would actually be very, very creative, and that would be something that can open up into something positive and something good, and you would get a feeling of that. If we did that as a choreography, then we would get the same feeling, we'd get the sense of the Shatabdi energy. But that's not what it is that's absolutely incredibly astonishing. There's something in expression that relies upon the truth of the essence of the being that it's coming from. People can sense authenticity. People can sense when something meaningful is resonating with them, that the character that is underneath that resonance is something beautiful. It's something profound. It's something mystical. This is why all roads lead to mysticism. Really, everything comes back to mysticism. Life is a mystery. Now, I hate to say that as a cliche, and we've seen it again and again, and that's why I've tried to come up with these acid quotes that are a little bit quirky, because we're so tired of all the phrases like life is a mystery that are so cheesy and so shallow because we've heard them so many times and they just don't resonate. And what I think when I'm really in that state of realizing something amazing, and what I say is absolutely incredibly astonishing. And I think this is a realization that people get from different things. Like, for me to get this realization and this experience from a girl dancing, well, I think many people would relate to that. That's quite common. But some people get it from very different things, like numbers on a screen, like success in business, like new heights in your bank account. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that can be amazing in its own time. It can be exciting. Of course, we all like success. We all like to have a bit more of a acknowledgement of what we're doing and a payback from the efforts that we've put out there. No doubt about it. But there's something more wholesome about appreciating someone dancing. Now, of course, appreciating a girl dance, that can also be something that's astonishing in a way that's not so wholesome. If you look at the strip club industry or even the sex work industry, this is the same sort of thing, but in a bastardization version. Now, Shatabdi is someone that's known to me, and perhaps it's just our personal connection that allows me to see how amazing she is. But also, of course, she is a beautiful woman, which also helps, no doubt about it. The other side, the strip club side, the side that is the dark side of this realization, is that people do go to see girls dance and they feel it is amazing, but they're really feeding on something sinister. They're feeding on something that is a much lower understanding of their experience. And it's not even understanding, it's just an appeal to a base desire. Seeing the beauty in someone because you know their soul is not the same as becoming stimulated by a certain gestalt in the mind being triggered. What I'm trying to say is, just because a woman is sexy and she's dancing in front of you, doesn't mean you're seeing the beauty within her. And this is the darkness of the strip club industry and the sex work industry at large. It's an appeal to something else inside your being. And it's not that we want to deny that you have that desire. It's not that we want to deny that sexuality is part of the human experience. It's just that we want to be real about what it is that we're appreciating within someone. And even it's okay to appreciate a woman for her sexiness. If you say to yourself, wow, that girl is beautiful in a sexy kind of way, and you keep it at that, and you keep it real, and you're honest to yourself about what part of you in you is actually having that experience and what is being stimulated, then I think that's okay. I think that has to be something also that you contend with in a balanced way. The problem comes when that experience is so arresting that you think it's the real deal. You think it's all that there is, and you think it is the most beautiful thing. You think that is the beauty. You think that is the highest astonishment that you can get. And really, you can see this if you go, okay, well, how do you see other people dance? Can you see the beauty in someone dance that you know who is not so physically attractive? And I can say honestly, well, yes, in certain situations, I have found people to dance in a way that is absolutely incredibly astonishing. And in those situations, sexuality doesn't come into it. Sexuality is not part of it. And it's not attraction in that way. It's not a sexual attraction. It's a stimulation of a deeper beauty. It's a fulfillment of witnessing truth in someone else. And that is astonishing. And I mean, astonishing is not enough to say, right? That's why this quote is absolutely incredibly astonishing. And I know it is a bit over the top to have so many absolutes and to really push on it so hard, but that's what we have to do with words sometimes. We have to labour over them. We have to put into them as much as we can and force whatever energy. Well, I mean, it's not forcing an energy. It's just allowing of the energy to burst. I remember also this story of Terence McKenna. Always comes to mind when I think of this phrase, absolutely incredibly astonishing, which is where he's talking about the DMT trip, like he so often did. And he talks about how, in a certain sense, it's safe in that it's a temporary state and you're going to come back and you're going to be reassembled on the other side. And yet you may end up thinking that it's possible to die from astonishment, death by astonishment, because it's something that's so far outside your normal reality and yet something undeniable. And that is the experience we're interested in. That is the experience that is absolutely critical to living a multidimensional life. When you have a new experience, this happens. When you move to a new city, this happens. When you go to a new country, this happens. When you get into a new relationship, this happens. Because it's entirely new. It's different to everything that you've experienced before, and it's undeniable. And these things of living in a different city or world travel or getting into a relationship, they're sort of, in a sense, life experiences. And in that sense, they're different to psychedelic experiences in that you might not necessarily stumble upon the psychedelic experience. This is something that Terence McKenna talked about in many ways as well. And many times in many of his talks, he talked about the fact that you can go your whole life without seeing the psychedelic realms. In the case of sex, your hormones do eventually come up. There is something that eventually drives you to a certain set of experiences. Whereas with psychedelics, if you've never heard of them, you've never known about them, and you've never had that experience of going on that journey, then, well, it can pass you by. And a common realization that people have when they do open to psychedelic consciousness is, what else am I missing? And the answer is a lot. You're missing a lot. Even by doing psychedelics, even by exploring those realms, which I hope you don't get stuck in. It would be a trap to get stuck in those realms. But even with all that, with all the colours, there's always more. There's always something new. And there's always a deeper experience of being born again, of feeling like everything is absolutely, incredibly astonishing. And I can only hope that more people find a way to open to new experiences. I can only hope that people realize that they've got to do something about all the information that they're hearing. With so much information available, it's easy to trick yourself into thinking that you're having something new. You're living something new. But let me ask you, does this conversation here, does this feel new to you? Does this moment here, does this feel fresh? Does it feel alive? Does it feel different to how it felt 10 minutes ago? Does it feel different to how it felt 5 minutes ago? And just notice how you feel right now. Notice how it is to look out your eyes. Notice how it feels in your body, in your hands, in your feet, in your neck and your shoulders. And just take a moment to sense your belly and your tummy. And just feel how it is to listen along and to have this quote, to have these words, absolutely incredibly astonishing. And of course, just consider for a moment how your day is going. I hope it's going okay. I hope you're doing all right. I hope you're hanging in there. I hope you're keeping it real. This is what I mean by keeping it real, yeah? It means having a good time. It means keeping on smiling. And of course, I wish you all the best for the rest of your day. Lots of love, lots of peace, lots of joy, lots of coming into this thing of absolutely, incredibly astonishing. You can get this quote on Acid Quote Tees on Etsy, baby. Oh, baby, I'm just loving every second of it. Hope you have a beautiful day. Hoping you're having a good time. Share the love. Go and hug a tree. Meet a little doggy and pat him or her, if it's a boy or a girl. Enjoy your times once again. And we'll be back very soon. Subscribe to the channel. Head on over to the Etsy store. Sending love. Have a beautiful day. See you later. Bye-bye. See you next time.